welcome to Tiga Garis Podcast. I'm Yuyun Yunisa from Adidas Group, and now you're listening to the first episode of the Tiga Garis Podcast. So today, I'm gonna talk about methods of manufacturing based on summary from the book Operation Management by me Aksara, and I think this should be an interesting topic, and I hope you like it. But before we start, also remember to give this podcast a like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss out when there's a new podcast. Okay, let's get started. First of all, let's define methods of manufacturing. What is methods of manufacturing? The combinations of operations and activities employed to create goods and services is known as manufacturing system or method. The selection of the manufacturing method is a strategic decision for most organizations. Decisions of manufacturing method has direct bearing on vital aspects like manufacturing costs and quality. Any mistake in decisions on manufacturing method may prove too costly for an organization. Further, in such cases, change later are very expensive to make. The system selected should be such that it can give the desired output, required quality, and it cost effective. Okay, the next topic we're gonna talk about the factors. There is no best manufacturing method for any product. The choice of the method depends on various circumstances discussed later, but whatever be the method selected, it must meet two basic objectives. And namely, for the first one is, it must be able to meet the specifications of the final product, and the second one is, it must be cost effective. And there are various factors which determine the choice of the manufacturing process based on summary from the book Operations Management by me Aksara are as follows. For the first one is effect of volume and variety. One of the major considerations in the process selection is the volume or variety of the products. As explained later, high product variety or many products in one or few numbers require highly skilled labor and then general purpose machine, detailed and sophisticated production planning and control system. And the second point is capacity of the plant. The projected sales volume is a major influencing factor in determining whether the firm should go in for intermittent or continuous process. Fixed costs are high for continuous process and low for intermittent process, while variable costs are more for the intermittent process and less for continuous process. Intermittent process therefore will be cheaper to install and operate at low volumes, and continuous process will be economical to use at high volumes. And the third point is flexibility of production. Flexibility implies the ability of the company to satisfy varied customers' requirements. Flexibility and product variety are interrelated. If more variety is to be manufactured, the manufacturing facilities will have to be commonized, and depending upon the volume, the extent of commonalities will require to be justified. And the next point is lead time. Lead time is more appropriately called delivery lead times expected by the customer, or how soon the demand has to be met without losing on sale, is another major influencing factor in a competitive market. Generally, faster deliveries are expected in a competitive market. The product, therefore, may require to be produced to stock using principle of batch production or mass production. And the fifth point is efficiency. Efficiency measures the speed and the cost of the transformation process. Efficiency is the greatest when the product is mass produced. However, to mass produce a product, greater sales volume are required. Therefore, depending upon the sales volume, product variety will have to be considered and the process, which will give the best efficiency in terms of machine and workforce utilizations, will have to be selected. And the last point is environment. Environment brings in new technologies and forces the adoption of new process of manufacturing. For example, metals and plastic are gradually replacing wooden furniture. A furniture manufacturing unit will have to change its technology or change from one of production to batch production to fall in line with changing times. And the manufacturing methods are classified into 5 groups. For the first one is project production. Project production is characterized by complex sets of activities that must be performed in a particular order within the given period and within the estimated expenditure. The product of a project production is unique or non-repetitive, such as ships, locomotive, and aircraft, roads, buildings, etc. And the characteristics of project production are, for the first one, definite beginning and definite end, and then non-uniform requirement of resources, involvement of different agencies, fixed positions layout, and the last one is high cost overruns. The second one is jobbing production. The jobbing production is characterized by the manufacture of one or few numbers of a single product designed and manufactured strictly to customer specifications within the given period and within the price fixed prior to the contract. And some typical examples of industries engaged in jobbing productions are general repair shops and then special purpose machine tool manufacturers, workshop to manufacture jigs and fixtures for other units, etc. And the characteristic of jobbing productions are, for the first one is small production runs, discontinuous flow of materials, disproportionate manufacturing cycle times, general purpose machines and process layout, and the last one is highly skilled labor. And next is third point is about batch production. That batch production is characterized by the manufacture of a limited number of a product, but many such quantities of different products produced at a periodic interval and stocked in warehouses as finished goods or finished parts, awaiting sales or withdrawal for assembly. And typical example of batch production are process industries such as pharmaceuticals and then paints, chemicals, medium and heavy engineering industry engaged in the manufacture of electric motors, etc. And the characteristic of batch productions are, for the first one is short runs, and the second one is skilled labor in specific trades, and the next one is supervisor to possess knowledge of a specific process, and then limited span of control, and the last one is general purpose machines and process type of layout. And the next point is mass and flow production. The mass as well as flow production is characterized by the manufacture of several numbers of a standard product produced and stocked in the warehouse as finished good awaiting sales. And also there are characteristics of mass and flow productions. But the first one is continuous flow of material and then special purpose machines and product type layout, and then machinized materials handling and low skilled labor, and the last one is short manufacturing cycle time. Fifth point is process production. So, process production is characterized by the manufacture of a single product produced and stocked in the warehouse awaiting sales. The flexibility of such plants is almost zero, as only one type of product can be produced in such plants. Typical examples of such plants are sugar, steel, cement, paper, coke, refineries, etc. And the characteristics of process productions are, for the first one is special purpose machines with built-in controls, highly machinized and automated materials handling, and then low skilled labor, and the last one is supervisor to be process specialist. Okay, let's move to the next topic. Now we're gonna talk about manufacturing method selection based on summary from the book Operations Management by me Aksara, that 5 manufacturing methods referred above are the simplified versions of what is found in practice. Very few organizations use only one of these manufacturing methods in its pure sense. Most organizations combine two or more of these pure forms to produce components and the final product. For example, manufacturers of automobiles use batch production to manufacture components and flow production for the final assembly. So the conclusion is two extreme forms of manufacturing methods are project production and continuous production. Project production is a single assignment of complex nature, while continuous production is the manufacture of infinite quantity in a single run. Between these two extremes are four different manufacturing methods, namely jobbing production, batch production, mass production, and process production. The degree of repetitiveness increases from jobbing production to batch production. Different factors which influences the choice of manufacturing method include volume, variety, capacity, flexibility, efficiency, and environment. Very few organizations use only one of these manufacturing methods in its pure forms, and most organizations combine two or more of these pure forms. And a manufacturing method, like a product, also has a life cycle. Break-even analysis is helpful in selecting the optimal manufacturing method. Alright guys, well, I'll stop there for today. Hopefully this episode was interesting for you, and hopefully it was good for you to study manufacturing methods in operational management based on summary from the book Operations Management by me, Aksara. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this podcast. See you on the next episode. Bye bye.